here's what I assigned yesterday, and I want to explain it a little bit. Before we actually write our no kidding business plan and start diving into that hardcore, I decided we need to pitch our business ideas to our classmates. Because it's one thing to talk about your business inside your head and maybe to your shoulder partner and just kind of talk about it. You've shown me kind of what you're doing, but it was at the very beginning. And it's always interesting when you throw out a business idea to people and they look at you like, okay, that doesn't really sound that exciting. I'm not into it. They may not be your audience, they may not be your customer, but you should also get in the habit of, hey, I have this really cool idea. I'm going to do this and make this. Would you, what do you think? Would you be interested? Oh, you don't like that? Do you know someone who would be interested? And you can start having that conversation. Because it's, at the beginning, that's how you're going to drum up business, honestly. So for our business plan assignment, so we're going towards the business plan. And for the business plan assignment, you may group up to write your business plan. Check the syllabus because there's a big gotcha with that. Everybody still has to write a decent number of pages, okay? So if you're grouping up, your business probably needs to be a little bit bigger than what you might do by yourself, okay? You may do your own business idea, and so that's one of the reasons we're going to pitch, because you may hear what someone else is doing and go, you know what, I have the same idea. Maybe we should group up and work together to come up with our business plan. Or, my idea stinks. I like that idea. Can I be part of your group? Can I work with you? If you don't want to work with somebody, feel perfectly okay with saying, no, I'm going to do this by myself. Okay? So before we decide which one we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and pitch our business idea, and we're going to pitch it to the class. If I'm back in class next week, we will do it next week. Otherwise, depending on what I find out tomorrow, you may actually pitch to make a video of your presentation so that so I can see it at least. Okay, so that will be determined later. All right, so here's what your pitch will kind of look like. And so you should title it probably with your proposed company name, introduction. Should have some kind of hook, okay? How are you gonna hook people in? And you really should talk about, here is the problem and here is how I'm solving that problem. So if you're making a YouTube video, what problem are you solving for people who are watching it? So if you're doing a reaction video, what problem are you solving for people? It could be you're actually just allowing them to see someone else who feels the same way about, like if I watch a reaction video, sometimes I watch a reaction video because I really like that thing and I want to see someone else have the same reactions I did. Okay, so I feel connected and in community. But it could be the opposite, where I want to hear an expert talk about something novel and new. Okay, but what's the problem you're solving? If you can really nail that down and then explain your answer to that in a novel way, or actually have a novel solution, you'll get people's attention really fast. Okay, and then you go into more detail. Describe the big problem, important jobs you are solving, and your target customer, why they will purchase your solution. Okay, and you should very briefly talk about the solution and its benefits. And so this should be like, what I've gotten written right here is almost too many words. Okay, you need to, and this takes a lot of work. It's hard to do this. So write a whole page if you need to, and then start deleting stuff. Okay, until you can trim this down into a very concise 1 to 2 sentences, and you can get into it. I'm still editing an example that I did 5 or 6 years ago, but I'm trying to change it. And when I get to that, hopefully I will show you. But then you should also tell them who you are. So I am so-and-so, and I'm going to be the main owner, or I'm a partner in this, or, you know, what is your title? What are you going to be? What is your role? What is your title? Why am I listening to you? Okay. So why are you doing this pitch? Okay. So I'm doing this pitch because I want to see if anybody's interested in joining me in this business, or I'm looking for $100,000 to start my first round of funding and get my business off the ground. Or I've got the business already running, but I need $100,000 to go to the distribution place and get my product distributed. Okay. So why are you talking to that person? So you should kind of have that down. So for us, what is our purpose going to be? Why are we going to be listening to you? It's because, let's go with, you're looking for an initial round of funding. Okay. Something to help you get started. And you could say it, I hope to get blah, blah, blah. Okay. This one you can skip. If you already have been doing your business, like I know a couple of you actually already have like a YouTube channel. Some of you already have a vending business. Some of you already have some different things. Then you might, this is what I already have in place. Okay. But if you don't have something in place, you really should just skip this. Okay. And now we're going to go back in more detail and talk about the problem I'm trying to solve. Okay. What are the pains and gains for this market? Okay. And we've talked about it in two ways: the pains of whatever thing you're actually trying to solve, but also the pain of adopting your product. Okay. What are people going to have to do to change in order to use your product? Okay. You could talk about that as well. That one, second one's probably minor for this kind of presentation, but you could do that. How does your target customer, which is your market that you're trying to hit, satisfy that need today? So if you're making a beauty product, where are they getting the same or similar type of beauty product? Where are they going right now? Okay. What does that cost them? What are they losing by doing that? Okay. How large is your market? What are its critical trends? So are we talking, I do a video series on, what's a good one? I was trying to think of a ridiculous one. I'm doing a video series on Mr. Franklin saying, all the time. Okay, who's going to watch that? Well, maybe a couple people, but a whole video series? Seriously? Okay, so how large is the market? Who is actually going to be participating? Be honest. Don't just say everybody's going to love my channel, because that's not true. Who is going to be watching your channel? You know, 18 to 25-year-olds who are into rap music, or something like that, or 14 to 25 interested in rap music. Whatever it is, how large is the market? What are its trends? Okay. You may or may not, later there's a place where you could actually go, okay, here's this other guy's channel that's very similar to mine. And you can pull up, he has 3,000 subscribers. He gets about 300,000 views. And so this is kind of the market I'm targeting. So you're going to be wanting to look for some examples as well. When it says use pictures, you can use pictures to really highlight what's going on. The more actual and the more specific those pictures are, it's like a screenshot of that YouTube person's like title with their views and that kind of a thing. The more specific you can be in actuality, the better. Okay. Your solution: describe your product, describe your service, keep it compelling, keep it simple. Okay. What is your value proposition and how is it different from what the other guy is doing? Okay. What makes your product competitive? And you should, and I would bullet point it. I would not write it as a sentence, but I would go, it's easy to access. It's fun. It's, but 1 to 2 words, just make 3 to 5 short statements that say my product does this, 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 and this, and this, and make sure your product actually does those things. If you say fun and it's not fun, then don't put fun. Okay. It's okay if it's not fun. If that's not what it's supposed to be, that's fine. Okay. But ease of use, friendly to the environment, hypoallergenic. Okay, if it's actually got those things, then yes. Okay. And then last, validation. Have you tested this and how does it actually work? So the next thing is talk more about the market specifically, market pain. How does your solution meet that pain? Who is the market? How many? What's the cost versus benefit of accessing your product? So this is more of the pain of a customer adopting your product. And will they buy? Do you have evidence? Have you already sold some? Okay. And then last, I think this is the last slide, your secret sauce. Okay. What is your one thing that makes your product stand out above somebody else's? Okay. And a hint, it shouldn't be price. It might be price as part of it because you can make it cheaper than somebody else, but it's probably not price. Okay. It really should be something else. You know what? I only use these products to make my thing that I'm making, and that's why it's going to be excellent. When I make a saddle, then I do this to make the saddle, and it's why it stands out above somebody else who makes saddles. Okay. And then those 3 to 5 attributes we talked about up here, right here, these 3 to 5 attributes, how do those show up in the novel thing that you're doing? Okay, so you might actually start here and then work backwards. What are those 3 to 5 things of the novelty of your product? Okay, then you're going to describe your product and service roadmap and risks. So where are you at in the cycle of creating your product? What's the roadmap ahead? I'm planning on doing this, you know, making the beauty products in-house and selling 100 a month because that's about all I can manage on a Saturday. I mean, whatever it is that you should lay out. Now, once I make so much money, then I can actually add maybe another person to come work with me in my house, and I can hire them and they can help me make twice as much. Okay, but describe, what are you planning to do? How are you going to do that? This last note is really important. Especially if you're really talking to an investor, they may not, most likely they will not be technically savvy in your product or your business. Okay. So, but they're also really good at spotting when people are just making it up or not being 100% honest about different things. Okay. So make them feel smart, but also be very clear what you're trying to say. Okay. There should be no confusion when you go to an investor and say, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want. This is what our product does. Because you opened up a whole big can of worms you don't want to open if that's not the case. Okay. And then last but not least, don't give away any details that are not protected by patents. Because patents are different than copyright. Copyright, you're protected no matter what. Patents are different. So yeah, you could also argue some for copyright, but most people don't have the time or the energy to steal copyright. And if they do, they can't. But patents is a different story. Okay. If it's a technology thing that you've created, you have to have the paperwork. So yeah, if you want to talk with me more about that, we can talk more about that. Bottom line, if you're in that kind of a league of creating a business, you should definitely be talking to a lawyer. Alrighty. All right. So what you should do, you should work on the blog, work on your presentation. As of right now, and we can discuss this, whether this is fair or not, I will replace 2 of your blog grades or 2 quiz grades, or I will just give you an extra 40 points. Your choice. We will talk about this when I come back to class, exactly what the grade's going to be, but it will be 40 points worth of stuff. So 40 points is what I set it at, and that's what your presentation is going to be worth. All righty. Thank you for listening. I know that was an extremely long video. I will probably chop it up into little bitty pieces, but thank you for listening. Have at it. Good luck in writing your business pitch. See ya.